Hello, and welcome to the very first edition of Nu Sigma Throwback Thursdays. I am your host, Jack Mitchell, president of your 2023-2024 Gold Chapter, Beta Alpha Psi, Nu Sigma Chapter. Now, you probably are wondering two things. One, where is the original intro that you usually see when we have our BAP meetings? Well, for these Throwback Thursday videos, we decided to make a new intro for it, just to change things up a bit. And you guys are going to see that in 3, 2, 1. All right. I hope you all like that. So now let's get to the real reason why we are doing Nu Sigma Throwback Thursdays. So as you guys all know by now, this year, and we've been saying it for every meeting this semester so far, and we're going to continue to say this until the end of the academic year for this year, this is the 10th anniversary of the Nu Sigma chapter being founded here at FDU Silberman. For those who are history buffs, we were founded or chartered in 2014 in May, and we were actually chartered May 2016. So 10 years from 2014 to 2024. So we realized that when we went back into the archives of our meetings, and these are meetings that are from way back in the day, like even before me or any member of the e-board or even at FDU at all. They were old meetings that either A, the audio quality was not good, or B, they basically broke the meetings up in parts. And the e-board and I had the amazing idea, because not only we want to do is we want to share with you guys the great memories and the amazing speakers that came to us for the last 10 years. And now that we want to restore them to the best quality it can. So that is why we'll be instilling, starting right now, Nu Sigma Throwback Thursdays. So you guys will be getting a throwback meeting way back in the archives from BAP Nu Sigma on the first Thursday of every month. Now, these meetings are going to be basically in its entirety, because some of them are broken up into parts. We're going to mash them all together in one video. Not only that, it'll be rendered up to the remastered to 1080p. So you probably are all wondering, oh, before I even get to that, for those our members and candidates, these Throwback Thursday events, meetings, they're not meetings, but videos, they do not count towards reflection papers. They do not count. So I'll make that clear right now. These 6 old, meetings we're going to put back up on our channel, they are not going to count for the reflection papers. They're not going to count. Obviously, we want to celebrate the amazing 10 years we've had here at Nu Sigma. You guys are probably wondering, well, who are the 6 meetings that we're going to remaster? So let me try something. What do you know? So today, you're going to be watching Becker. Then on November 7th, you'll be watching Colin Resnick. Fun fact about that old meeting, it's actually one of our most popular meetings we've ever had on the channel. And one of the parts, I don't know how, but it got to, I believe, 2,800 views. And our goal, let's try and get that meeting to 5,000 views when we re-upload it, if we can. And then on December 5th, we'll re-upload the Merrill Lynch meeting. So that is going to be for the fall semester. For the spring semester, on February 6th, we'll be re-releasing the IMA meeting. On March 6th, we'll be re-releasing CBiz meeting. And then finally, as our finale to our Throwback Thursdays for Nu Sigma, we'll be re-releasing the Nissi Vokia meeting on April 3rd. So that is the schedule. Again, as a reminder for candidates and members, these meetings do not count towards your reflection paper requirements. If you need to make up for attendance, these are not going to be attendance makeup events. They're not. So get that out of the way. All right, so just some background about the meeting you're going to be watching today. So Becker, this was way before they did their whole rebrand. And I believe at the time, Peter Linkto was still at Becker before he came over to UWorld. Fun fact. So this meeting was held on April 17th, 2019. So this was the spring semester of 2019. This was the second to last speaker meeting before the induction ceremony for our spring candidates. And during that time, we had about 2 people go out for candidacy. I can happily say that for this semester, we had around 10 to 18 or maybe even 20. I have to look back at the numbers, but again, to see where we're coming from the spring to now, it's like a huge difference of BAP. So before I send you off to this first ever edition of Nu Sigma Throwback Thursdays, just some reminders for our members. That way you guys all know what's going on. As far as next week's events go, there's going to be 1 attendance makeup event and 1 Nu Sigma chapter meeting. Our makeup event, which will be how AI is radically reshaping audit, risk, and business strategies. This event will be offered by the IIA, the Institute of Internal Auditors. Now, as a note, you do need to sign up for a free IIA membership. If you want to learn more on how to do that, please go to Web Campus and go to our content page. We've listed directions on what to do, on how to sign up for it. It is completely free, and trust me, it will look good on your resume saying that you are a member of the IIA as a student. And then on the 9th, we're going to have Thoroughbred Advisors. Another FDU alumni will be coming to speak to us, Brian McCarthy, who is also CFP certified. So that'll be a great meeting. And again, for our attendance makeup event, that'll be on the 8th. If anyone is going to be attending that, again, you know the rules. You have to let one of the e-board members know, write the 1-page reflection, take a screenshot just to make sure you were there at the meeting, and then submit it over to us within the for the end of that day. And the How AI event will be from 12 to 1 p.m. on the 8th. And yeah, so with that being said, that is it for me. Oh, one more thing. If you all remember the first meeting where we used the feature presentation, the classic one, well, we decided that for all Throwback Thursday meetings, events, we're going to be using that one as a way of saying we're going back to the past. So if you guys are ready, I know I'm most certainly ready to watch this. Let's get you guys to watch our very first episode of Nu Sigma Throwback Thursdays, starting with Becker.
And now, our feature presentation.
Cameras everywhere.
Not for people, so people can't make the meetings.
No, that makes sense. So hi everyone, my name is Maura. I am here from Becker's CPA Review. So my job title there is account manager, and I cover New Jersey, and now I cover Philadelphia also. As the Becker account manager, basically what I do, I work with all the schools and all the firms throughout New Jersey and Philadelphia. You know, obviously, you know that you're part of a good accounting program here, right? Like Fairleigh Dickinson has a great reputation for it. Obviously in Beta Alpha Psi, you guys are a little above and beyond. So you know that you're learning all of the content that's going to be on the exam. The part where students struggle a little bit in their 4th and 5th year is to actually learn about the exam itself. So that's basically what I do. You know, today we'll go through a little bit about, you know, the requirements that you need to be eligible to sit for the exam. I'll walk you through the registration process, like a very general overview for it. We'll look at some of the content that's on the 4 parts and the structure, like how the exam is broken down. From there, if we have some time, I'll log into my course for a little bit. I can show you like what a simple study plan looks like and some multiple choice questions, a simulation, just so that you can start to see and start to like wrap your mind around what you'll be able to expect when it comes to exam time. Good? I'm super casual. If you want food, I mean, it's not really mine to offer, but there's food back there if anybody wants it. Questions, comments, stories, I welcome everything. I do this presentation very often. I'm like, especially by this time of the school year, how you guys are like sick of school. I've probably done this like 100 times since September, so definitely welcome any questions, comments, interruptions from there. So, good? Cool. So, don't start. This is my nightmare if this doesn't work. Like if I have to pace back and forth and like press next every time, oh, it's not easy. So I always start with the same slide when I do this presentation. The next like 40 minutes or so, I'm going to talk a lot about the hundreds of hours you have to study for the exam, you know, the fees that are involved with it, like the pass rates. It's gonna be like a real downer for a little while. So I always like to remind people why you're doing this and, you know, what's the benefit and why do so many people do it and work so hard at it. And, you know, I always start with the obvious reason, right? The money that's behind it. Do you guys know Robert Half? Have you ever heard of Robert Half? They're like headhunting, staffing, recruiting, mostly for accounting and finance positions. Well, every year they put out a salary guide, and this salary guide estimates what someone, you know, the different accounting positions across the board, what you can expect to earn in your first year, your 5th year, your 10th year, and so on. And they estimate that a CPA versus their non-credentialed counterpart, so versus a non-CPA, can expect to earn 5 to 15% more in their lifetime. So basically what that means, you know, you and I, we graduated from Fairleigh Dickinson at the same time, and you know, we both start a position at EY, and you decide to become a CPA and I don't, they call it the $1 million difference. You can expect to earn about $1.3 million more in your lifetime. Which, like, I'll trade one summer of studying for $1.3 million, but that's just me. The second part is the employment opportunities. So, like I said, I work with all these firms throughout the state, and I confirm with them often, how far can someone advance in the firm without their CPA? And every firm is black and white, no gray area, whether it's, you know, a supervisor position or a manager position, but anything that involves becoming a senior management partner, if you don't have a CPA, it's not happening. So where a lot of the firms struggle now, and what I'm like trying to come up with these grand schemes for them is, they have staff who have been there for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and they're doing everything right, and they need to be promoted, but they don't have their CPA, so that's the only thing holding them back. And most of you are what, like juniors, seniors, 5th year, in and out, yeah? Like, imagine trying to be tested right now on what you learned your freshman year. Like, now imagine that 8 years from now. So, yeah, that's what you're working on now? It's fun, isn't it? So the firms are asking us, you know, can you put live classes at the firm? And it's costing them tens and thousands of dollars to do all this. So basically, they ask me to ask you to just study right out of school. They just, the sooner the better. There's a reason they have those bonuses for $1,000, $3,000, $5,000. The sooner you pass the exam, it's to eliminate this problem that they have in the future. The third part, 75% of AICPA members will be eligible to retire by 2020. So it's this stat. So I've been at Becker for like 2.5 years now. So since 2016, I've been using that stat, and like 2020 sounded like this made-up, distant future year that wasn't happening, but it's next year now, right? So this is that group of baby boomers we've heard about our whole lives. Like, retirement age is coming for them. And, you know, recently, the past couple years, there's been a downward trend. Less people are taking the CPA exam, yet there's more positions that are opening up. So it's, you know, the perfect storm for you guys. It's, I mean, I haven't been out of school that long. It's economics 101, right? Supply and demand, like that's literally what's happening here, so. Make sense? Any questions? I've convinced everyone to become a CPA. You guys are easy. Oh, no, I forgot. I'm just gonna grunt every time I have to walk over here and do this. So, these are the steps that we've broken down the CPA exam into. So I'll go through all of them kind of quickly now, and then the next slides dive a little bit deeper into them. I keep like putting my back to them and like big head like blocking their view, so don't mind my pacing. But so step one, the good news is that's what you're doing right now, right? Qualify. We know there's a set of requirements to be eligible to sit for the CPA exam and a set of requirements to actually become certified, right? With the requirements to sit for the exam, what you want to keep in mind is every state is similar, but they're a little bit different. So depending on if you're going to stay local in New Jersey, or if you want to go work in the city, or you want to go to Philly, you need to know the New Jersey, the New York, the Pennsylvania requirements, and making sure you're hitting the requirements for the state that you want to become certified in. Once you hit those requirements, you're going to submit your application to the examiners. You're going to fill out the application. Fairleigh Dickinson is going to submit your transcripts, or any other school that you have credits from. They're going to submit your official sealed transcripts. You're not touching them, you're not involved with it. You're requesting them, and the school is sending it right to the examiners. Your goal is to get back your notice to schedule. Just know NTS, everyone calls their NTS, it's the notice to schedule. sometimes you get your NTS back in like 4 weeks, and sometimes you get your NTS back in like 8 or 9 weeks. So depending on the time of year, it could be really busy. So the majority of the states in the country, you have to have your bachelor's degree to be eligible to sit for the exam. The majority of schools in the country graduate in May. That means in May, there's their biggest amount of students applying for the CPA exam. I would imagine most of you are in that boat too. Our suggestion, talk to whoever it is, your bursar's office, your registrar's office, maybe like a week or so before graduation. Just let them know, like, hey, I'm an accounting major. They do this all the time. Hey, I'm gonna need my transcripts, ASAP after graduation to be submitted. Just let them know to kind of expect to hear from you that you need them right away. Yeah.
So in regard to that step, could I, for example, get an official transcript, keep it sealed in the envelope, and then send it myself to the board?
No, it's straight from the school to, yeah, good question though, but no, it's like super duper official, if that's not like the real technical term for it, but no, it comes from the school. Good question though. The thing is, your school does it a million times. There's so many people from your school that are taking the exam, so they do it a lot. I'm just saying, like, right after graduation, just do it as soon as you can, because you're not going to hear back for a few weeks. So even if you plan on taking like a week or two off, we joke, like, you can go to like one graduation party, but then you have to study. Even if you're taking like a week or two off, still submit your application as soon as you can, because it's going to take a while for it to come back the first time. So while you're waiting for your NTS, you're not just sitting, yeah?
Is there such a thing as submitting your application too early?
So in New Jersey, you can't until you have your bachelor's degree. There's some states that you can, so like Massachusetts lets you do it 90 days before graduation. Like New York, you don't need your bachelor's degree. So not that that helps if you're gonna be a New Jersey CPA, but some states allow you, we're just not one of them that does it, so.
Because like I was looking at the board website right now, and like I was about to pay for and apply
Yeah.
for like FAR and
Yeah.
application fee, so I could not do that right now.
Do you have a bachelor's degree?
No, I graduate undergrad in May.
Yeah, no, you have to wait till May.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, good,
Good to know.
yeah.
And the regulation you have to follow, is that based on the state you're working in?
Yeah,
Or-
so that's a good question, because I get that often too. If you don't have a firm offer yet, how do you know what state you're gonna work in? Like, I'm going to take a job from whoever gives me one, right? So, what we suggest is just know that, just be familiar with the surrounding states that you're okay with working in. So for example, New York, you don't need a bachelor's degree to sit for the CPA exam. Fairly often, people who are graduating in May and want to start studying now will submit their application and become and study and sit for the New York CPA exam. But then once you finish, you want to come back to New Jersey, you apply for reciprocity. As long as you hit all the New Jersey requirements, you could pay a fee and you'll have a dual license, so you could be licensed in New Jersey too. So there are options out there. A lot of these bigger firms, a lot of the bigger firms are going to be patient with you as far as like transferring your license somewhere else, because you don't have to take the exam again. It's just as long as you hit that state's requirements and pay their fees, you could be a CPA in that state.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, once you pass the exam in a state, to get it in another state, you never have to take the exam.
No, there's like a joke that CPA stands for can't pass again. Like,
Right.
you never have to take the exam again. But you'll just, again, so if you become a New York CPA and never get your bachelor's degree, and you want to become one in New Jersey, you have to get your bachelor's degree. Like, you have to hit that state requirement. Besides that, it's just like paperwork and fees. Yeah.
So like, how does your notice to schedule work? Like, if you don't schedule all 4 parts in that time period, do you have to go through the whole process again and reapply for another notice to schedule?
Awesome question. So your notice to schedule is good for 6 months. So when you apply for your notice to schedule, your first one, you're applying for the exams that you're going to take in 6 months. So let's say you graduate in May, you started your firm in October, you're like, all right, this summer I'm knocking out at least 2 parts, so I'm gonna apply for FAR and I'm gonna apply for audit, because that's the order I'm taking it in. Those, like I said, that NTS for those 2 will be good for 6 months. If you finish FAR and audit in 3 months and you're like, cool, I'm ready for reg, when you apply for reg, your NTS is gonna come back in like 24 hours, 48 hours. Once you're approved to take the exam, there's not that 6 to 8 week waiting period anymore. You know what I mean? Because that's the part that was taking so long.
So you still have to like apply for another one, but it's just
Yes.
shorter time?
Yeah, you'll just hear back a lot faster.
Or is there like more fees to do that?
So each part, so you're gonna pay one application fee, which I'll show you the NASBO website. You're gonna pay one application fee, and then you're gonna pay registration fees for each of the 4 parts. You only pay the application fee once, and you'll pay the registration fee for that part every time you take it. The good news is your firms will likely cover it the first time through. Not many of them do the second time through. But basically, what that means is, so let's say you're at a school and you're like, 6 months, I'm taking all 4 parts, I'm going for it, let's do this. You pay for your exam fee, you pay for your 4 application fees, and then you only get to 2 parts, you have to pay for those other 2 parts again. So you want to challenge yourself, but also like don't rip yourself off when it comes to it. So it's like a, challenge yourself, but be smart about it too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I already have 120 credits
Okay.
already done.
Mhm.
Could I apply, or do I still just need the bachelor's?
You need the bachelor's degree.
Thank you.
I know, sorry, it hasn't changed in the last, I feel like it'll change, but it's not right now. You need a bachelor's degree in New Jersey.
Probably right after I pass. the
Probably,
exams, I
yeah,
think
or right after, like a month after you graduate, maybe even, so.
it'll-
Good? Cool, so while you're waiting for your NTS to come back, you're gonna start studying. You're gonna create your study plan. And obviously I'm biased towards Becker, but just make sure you're enrolled in some sort of a review course. This isn't a type of exam you can take on your own, it's a lot. So you need someone to help you study. While you're studying, your NTS comes back and you schedule your exam with the Prometric Center. So the Prometric Center is basically a giant neutral testing site where you're gonna go take the CPA exam. There's like half a dozen of them in New Jersey, and you can pick the one that's closest to your house, closest to your work, closest to school, whatever. Another point to keep in mind, the CPA exam is universal nationally, so it's the same exam everywhere. So let's say you live in New Jersey now, and that's where you're going to school, and you take your first part in New Jersey. And then you decide that you're gonna go out to the West Coast for 3 months, and you're just gonna go study and take the exam out there. You could sit for the New Jersey CPA exam in California. You don't physically have to be in New Jersey. Something to keep in mind about the Prometric Center, when you're scheduling your exam, you're basically making a reservation to go sit for the CPA exam. Like any reservation in the world, the further in advance you do it, the more likely you are to get the day you want, the time you want, the location you want. This isn't like on Tuesday, you're like, oh good, I finished my last mock exam, I'm gonna take the CPA exam on Friday. Like that's not gonna happen. 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance is gonna be ideal too. Are you a morning person? You wanna go early? You don't wanna have to drive 3 hours down to Trenton to take a 4-hour exam. You wanna give yourself the advantage of the day and the time and the location that you want. Good? Schedule the exam, and everyone's favorite part, you sit for the exam, you pass the exam, and then you hit the other requirements if you haven't done so already. If you need the additional credits. You're gonna have to get either like 1 year or 2 year of work experience. Some states have an ethics course, some have an exam. It's a little bit different in every state, but that part's easy. It's the sitting and passing the exam that's the real bulk of it. Good? If there are states that you want, actually, I think there's one more slide first. Yeah, so this is I just made this chart to kind of help people understand, like I said, the states we're all similar, but a little bit different. So you can see New Jersey, New York, and PA, we're all 120 states. New Jersey and PA, you need your bachelor's degree, whereas New York, you don't. But you have to hit these 4 classes as opposed to the bachelor's degree. Down the bottom, you can see every state, you need 150 to be certified and the 1 year of work experience. If there's a state that you want to check out, if you do becker.com/state, we break down all the different state requirements throughout the country, and you can check them there. I want to show you guys actually I'll show you the NASBA website now. So when you're ready to apply, you're going to apply through NASBA's website. NASBA is the one who's going to comb through your transcripts, read through your application, check your passport photos and stuff that you have to do. And obviously you're going to start that through this giant apply now button here. But actually, I was just going to show her the answer to her question. This is the fee schedule here too. So you can see there is the one-time application fee is $225, and then each of the 4 parts it's $208 from there. So again, it's not like it's money you want to just throw away. So you want to make sure you're applying for the right parts in the order you want and that you're going to take in the next 6 months. As far as the transcripts, I think that's under, oh, transcripts. This is where the school is going to submit the transcripts. Like I said, your school knows how to do it, but if they have questions, all of that is on this NASBO website too. Up top here, not to like steal their term, but there's some useful links. This is the Prometric Center link. So when you're ready to schedule your exam, your NTS is going to have like codes on it for you. And this is where you're going to actually schedule your test. You're going to pick here to schedule your exam, put in the codes to take either audit and English, and then you're going to use this geolocator here and find the location you want to go to. Down the line, if you need to reschedule it, you could do that here. So this is the Prometric website. And like I said, the Prometric Center is where you're going to go take the CPA exam. Also from here, you can reprint your NTS. Your NTS is like super important. So if you show up, you have to bring your NTS on exam day with you. If you show up for the exam without your NTS, they send you home, and it's, I genuinely can't think of anything worse in your life that could happen than that. So you could print out, like people have their NTS in their wallet, one in their car, one in their purse, like just have extra NTSs available, and you can print those out here. And also, this is where you're going to be able to see your scores from too. So the scores come out like 2-3 times per quarter, maybe 4. And there's like a general idea of when the scores are going to come out, but usually like 2 days beforehand, NASBA tweets out, score release, April 25th at midnight, and then you guys like crash the website because you just hit refresh 8 billion times until it comes through, but you'll spend time here on this NASBA website, you'll get good at it. This is my least favorite slide. So, like this slide is supposed to show the blacked out months, like the months when you can't sit for the exam. And like, do any of those look blacked out to you? It's a light pink, but whatever. So, there are times when you can sit for the CPA exam and times when you can't. In recent history, it was always closed the 3rd month of every quarter. Recently, they opened up the first 10 days of those closed months. So basically what that means, I'll just say it. You could sit in January, you could sit in February, you could sit March 1st through 10th, then it's closed the rest of March. You could sit in April, you could sit in May, June 1st through 10th, and then it's closed the rest of June. Sit in July, sit in August, September 1st through 10th, the rest of September is closed. Sit in October, November, December 1st through 10th, then the rest of December is closed. When you make your study plan with us, like we're not going to let you schedule your exam during that time. So it's like blacked out on our course too. Like you can study then, of course, but you can't sit for the exam then. Another point to keep in mind here are these yellow boxes for the firm busy seasons. Are any of you interning right now or working right now? So you had a big day, right? And do you work in tax? Is that what I heard you saying? Yeah. So you had a very good day a couple days ago, right? When like busy season ended. Oh, it's not over yet. So busy season, so you're going to learn about these busy seasons. And basically, one of the reasons the firms want you to have 2 or 3 parts done before you start here in October is, so you can see October busy season is going to end. During November and December, you'll be sitting for your 3rd part. Because when January comes, January through April 15th is the busiest time at firms. You're barely going to have time to study, which means you'd be doing your 4th part in May and June. That's a full 12 months of getting 4 parts done, which still leaves 6 months if you have to retake parts of it. But that's, when you go into the firms, some of them are a little bit nicer than others, but you're not going to have a ton of time to be studying. Yeah?
I'm just surprised that April 15th is not blocked out.
I know. As like a, yeah, no, that's wide open. Which is funny too, because obviously like nobody's studying right now, but they will start in like a week from now. I'm gonna start getting like bombarded with emails and questions people are ready to pick up again, so. Yeah, you would think that would be a nice time for them to block it out, but this is the Prometric website, but we already saw that. So, as opposed to the other slide, this is actually my favorite one. You can't see it, but up top where it's blocked out, it actually says the 2018 CPA exam, but I like this slide and I just keep using it even though it's not 2018 anymore. But this is what the structure of the exam looks like. So you guys know there's the 4 parts of the exam, right? There's FAR, it's financial accounting and reporting. There's audit. There's reg, which we were talking about before. It's basically your tax exam. And then BEC is business, environment, and concepts. And anything that's not covered in FAR, audit, and reg gets covered in BEC. Now, for a long time, FAR and audit were 4-hour exams, which they still are, and reg and BEC were 3-hour exams. But now all 4 of them are 4-hour exams. So it's a total of 16 hours of testing. And the reason that the timing changed is because of these, the task-based simulations. So you guys seem like you have questions, so I'm just going to explain why there's more simulations. So basically the examiners reached out to the firms and asked them, tell us about your new hires. What are they really good at? What are their strengths? And where do they struggle a little bit? What can we force them to study more and get better at? And the firm said, anything that involved memorization, they're golden. Laws, rules, definitions, anything like that, they're set. Where they struggle a little bit is taking the memorized information and applying it to day-to-day situations at the firms, which is exactly what these simulations are. They're meant to simulate tasks that you'll be doing at your job each day. Now, these simulations have been on recent history again, have been on the exam. Just until about a year and a half ago, it was like 70% multiple choice and like 30% simulations, but now it's 50-50. Each of the 4 parts is broken down into 5 testlets. Testlet 1 and 2 will always be multiple choice. 3 and 4 will always be simulations. And testlet 5 on FAR, audit, and reg will be more simulations, but on BEC will be written communication, and that's where you're tested on your writing skills. Now you guys know why I talk about the $1 million in the beginning. It's a lot, I know. So, 4 hours for each of the 4 parts. I know it sounds like an eternity, but you're going to use every minute of those 4 hours, especially with FAR. FAR is the big one. Actually, let's look at FAR. My slides are in order. They are. So FAR is the big one. Most of our books, reg is 8 chapters, audit and BEC are 6 chapters, but FAR is 10. FAR is the big one. Our other books are like this, FAR is this, and it just has a lot of information on it. It has our longest study time, which honestly, could they have made this any bigger than 150 hours worth of studying? If you're ever looking for a suggestion of the order to take the exam, we say to start with FAR, simply because of how big it is. You're gonna have your desk all cleared off and your new highlighters and all that, and the most, exactly, if you can get the cap off. You're gonna have your most motivation and be ready to study the most at this time. You're not ready to kill Peter Olinto, our instructors and stuff, so we say start here. At one point I wanna go, and I'm not gonna go crazy with what's on the exam. These slides are actually in the books that I gave you. But you can see here, state and local governments, there's a chance it makes up 5% of your scoring. Whereas select financial statement accounts can make up to 40% of your scoring. So this is where the review courses come in handy, right? You could read the blueprint that the AICPA puts out that gives the structure of the exam, but like I said, this is my job, and I would never, ever, ever read that. It's so long and so boring. So you don't have to. We're going to read it for you and know the scoring weight for each thing. So we're going to spend a lot more time on the 40% than we are on the 5%. Our goal is not for you to get a perfect score. Our goal is for you to pass. So we're going to make sure that you're focusing your time and attention on the right areas where most of your score is going to come from. Yeah?
How do you practice the task-based simulations? Because I've seen lots of books with multiple choice questions.
Yeah. Actually, when I log into the course, I could show you it.
Okay.
Because we have these new Skill Master videos, and they're my favorite thing, so I'll show it to you. So after FAR, we say do audit. FAR is financial reports, and audit is auditing the financial reports, so they kind of go together. Third, we say to get into reg. And like I said, reg's your tax exam, and business law is covered here too. And then finally, we say to finish up with BEC. I'll never call BEC the easiest, but it has the highest pass rates. It has a shorter study time. There's a little bit of a variety in the topics, so people don't mind studying it as much. And by now, you're shot. So, we say just kind of give yourself the advantage with the highest pass rate one at the end. Good? I feel like I like ruined all of your lives. You guys look miserable now, but before you had the questions and stuff, and you're just like, oh.
We chose the major.
Yeah, and you're true. And also, like, the pass rates out of FDU are compared to the state, like, you guys do well. So you can feel confident going into it, knowing that you are learning the information that's on the exam, so. If that's a silver lining. A little about, so I'm not gonna talk about this, but I do like this. Have you guys ever heard of a Watt-Sells Award, or the Watt-Sells Award winners?
Like perfect scores or
Close, like outrageously close, actually, so. So, to rewind a little bit, you know you need a 75 on each part to pass the exam, right? There's a 300 club, like if you get 75 4 times, it's an honor, like you did exactly what you needed to pass the CPA exam. You don't put your scores on your resume and all that. That being said, like you said, a Watt-Sells Award winner is someone who gets a 95.5% or better on all 4 parts on their first try. I know, it's completely outrageous, it's completely unnecessary, but 90% of the people who win it studied with Becker, and for some reason I think that's cool. Yeah.
I heard that those award recipients, they get like a $5,000 gift, is that true?
Yeah, and I've actually heard like even more than that. Like because I've had 2 of them in my territory in like the last year, and I have 2 more this year. And we give them like plaques and stuff, but I think the firms give you a choice, not all of them of course, either like $5,000, I know they give Louis bags to girls, like I know. Then it's not as outrageous, right? All of a sudden it's like, well, now I want that. But
Interesting.
it's a lot.
I know I'm gonna get 95.4. Yeah.
4 times. So we have different ways you could take the course. You know, what we were always famous for was that we're the only ones who had a live class. You know, exactly like it sounds, an instructor up front. You can raise your hand, ask questions, make friends, study groups, all that. Fewer and fewer students are interested in the live classes. You know, firms have you working more earlier than ever, and you know, the commuting to the live classes isn't always feasible. So our most popular version right now is self-study, which basically you're going into our study planner and saying, I'm going to study X hours a week, and I want to start this day, and I need to be done by this day, and so on. And then we're going to say, okay, cool, do these 2 chapters this week, do simulated exams this week. We're going to tell you everything to do, but it's on you to actually hold yourself accountable and do it. And then our third version is like a combination of the 2. It's live online, and it's an instructor who's teaching live nationally, but it's through a webinar. So let's say, you know, Mondays and Thursdays, East Coast times, it's like 7 till 10, because it's all across the country. You would be logged in and watching this instructor teach the class live. You still have access to all the pre-recorded lectures, so if you have to miss it or if you don't understand it, you can watch someone else teach it in our software. But the good part is, so let's say like at any moment there's 600 people signed in nationally. There's like 12 TAs that are signed in too, and you can live chat questions into them. It's a one-on-one chat box, like it's not popping up in front of all 600 people, because I don't know anybody who would ask a question if it was. So it's not a distraction of everyone's questions, but the next day, someone from Becker takes all those questions and answers, cleans them up, and emails them out to everybody that was on the webinar. Because you know when you think you don't have a question, and then someone asks a question, like, oh wow, I'm really glad you asked that, that's our way of covering that, so. If you don't have a firm offer, so I made this slide this morning, and I didn't know that it was going to be like moving like this because I just took it off of our website. So that's why like every time I plug this flash drive in today, just keep saying like, what is this? But we have a promotion going on right now through April 30th. So as of April 1st, we have unlimited access on our course if you buy the right package for it. We've never, ever, ever had that before. It just started. It's always been 18 months. You guys have always hated it, and I tried to tell you it was best for you, and you didn't want to listen to me. So it has unlimited access, and you would get the 4-part course, the digital flashcards, and the final review, and it's $1,000 off through April 30th, and you could do 0% financing with it, which means it's basically an 18-month interest-free payment plan, like that you can pay it off over 18 months. So that's there with my super flashy, gaudy slide. We have a game. It's called Accounting for Empires. It has like a Sims concept where you want to build your empire. You answer CPA-related questions. When you get them right, you earn knowledge points. You trade the knowledge in for gold, and then you use the gold to build your empire. Yeah. I'm supposed to tell you it's fun, but I guess it's better than doing your flashcards for the 1000th time, but I mean, you could, I just almost said it's fun. You could form alliances and you can like spy on each other and attack each other, like, we're trying. And actually, when you answer the multiple choice questions too, they're the multiple choice questions from the course and from your homework, so it counts as doing your homework too, so. That's for the professors in the other room, they like to hear that it counts towards homework, so. Demo, blah, blah. This is me. My email address, it's mgordon@becker.com. I have my card up here too if you want it. My cell phone, my weird Kansas City number, it's 913-645-0941. I'm super accessible. Call me, text me, email me. I spend the majority of my day talking to students. That's what I do all day long. I will help you make your study plan. I'll help you register for your NTS, enroll in the course, whatever you need to do. You know, it could be like not to sound corny, but like a lonely process behind it. You know, your friends don't know what you're talking about. Unless your parents are accountants, like, they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? So, if you just want to like say your study plan out loud and come up with it, like, I'll half-heartedly listen to you, but just kidding. But really do, like, keep in touch. I'm happy to help with things. Whew, I went through that fast. If you can't tell, I had a large iced coffee on the way here, but. You guys have any other questions? Do you want to see the course? Do we have time?
Yeah,
we have time. And I'm already logged in, so I wanted to do it before the IT guy left. I told him I'm so happy he's here. Usually at other schools, I have to like figure everything out myself, and I told him he's like so calm about it. Like when I'm at other schools, I have to do it. I'm like sweating, my face is red. I'm like just like, how am I going to do this? I can't figure anything out. So it was good to meet him. So these alerts up here. Once you download our course, it's like on the cloud, which I have no idea what that even means, but it's on the cloud, and it updates itself as changes come. So, like, did you guys hear about all the changes to reg that came this past January? Probably not, because you weren't studying, but the Tax Cuts Job Act all changed on the exam. So much of reg got updated. Leases changed, so updates to FAR happened. So anyway, the updates happen like while you're asleep. As far as the textbooks go, I just tell people, you know, there's an option to delay ship your books. Just wait until about a week or two before you're ready to study that part and have us ship you a book. That way you have the most updated one. If you ever need a new one, we'll give you one for free, but you have to pay for shipping that time, so you might as well just get it for free, whatever you can, so. Study plan. So again, you can take the 4 parts in any order that you want. I've heard every order justified, you know, like I was half eavesdropping over here before. You have a good tax class, you want to start with reg. Right. Or, you know, you just finished an audit internship at Witham Smith & Brown, so you want to start that first. Whatever, BEC, like I said, has the highest pass rates. You've never taken the CPA exam before, right? You've never been to a Prometric center. Maybe give yourself that advantage on the first part and start with BEC. So I've heard it, like I said, every order justified. When do you want to sit? Again, this depends on your firm or your plan and your firm's bonuses. Like, speaking of Witham Smith & Brown, do you guys know their bonus that they do? So I love Witham Smith & Brown. They're like my favorite firm in New Jersey. Don't tell the other firms that, but Witham Smith & Brown, if they make you an offer in October to start the next October, and you walk in with all 4 parts passed, they have a $10,000 bonus in place. So if you have an offer from Witham Smith & Brown, like obviously you're not picking, I don't know, right? You're at least attempting all 4 parts in that first year. But I'm just not going to do the math. We're just going to say, I don't know. I plan to study. So are you studying through the summer? Are you only working part-time? Are you not taking classes? Maybe you could do the 35, 40 hours a week. Or are you working full-time? Are you trying to get to the 150? You know, do you have 3 kids and you're the soccer coach? Maybe you could only do like 15 hours at a time. Yeah?
So I know with some tests at school, people say, oh, you can overstudy for a test and that'll sabotage you. Thoughts on that?
I've never heard anyone say that they've overstudied for it, yeah.
Check it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could, but I've never heard of it.
I'll take your word.
But I mean, maybe not overstudy for it, but could burn themselves out if you're trying to do 60 hours of studying in a week, you know? But I don't think anybody ever walked in like, man, I was overconfident for that exam, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you like set one of these, like, how many hours you can do a week, and then like things change? Like,
Yeah,
is there
it's,
any way to-
yeah, you can adjust the whole thing from there. Yep, good question. Let's start on Monday. Everything looks good. So, this, look how far looks terrible. Let's look at it. That's much better. So, since I picked 25 hours a week, I'm doing 2 chapters per week. So you can see I'm starting June 17th, A1, A2, the next week A3 and 4, 5 and 6, then my simulated exams through my 4th of July weekends, and then taking the exam. Yeah.
Do you recommend specific, okay, say 5 days a week, 6 days, 7 days, anything?
So, I mean, it's gonna change depending, you know, is that all you're doing this summer is studying? Like, you know, besides like working and all that? A lot of people like to make it like a job then. You know, they'll do like a 9 to 5 of studying and give themselves the weekend off. Or some people are like morning studiers, so they'll do 4 hours a day, but from like 8 a.m. till noon. I don't have like a definite answer for you, but I feel like it's something that most people kind of adjust along the way too. You kind of realize what you want to do, and you know, and you still have to make some time to like clear your head, like read something else, go to the gym, something like that. But so you'll see this simulated exam is like a full 2.5 weeks. So it's funny, Becker has this like reputation, like premier provider, partnered with the Global 7, all that. But really, when you guys are done with the studying, we're going to ask you for suggestions, and then when you have good ideas, we just put them in our course. It's not really rocket science. And we always had 2 simulated exams per part, and believe it or not, you guys asked for a 3rd one. So we added a 3rd simulated exam per part. Just a week ago, we stopped calling them mock exams, so that's why I like simulated exams. It's hard for me to change. But there are 3 full-blown exams. The reason people ask for a 3rd one is, has anybody like in the past 10 years taken a 4-hour exam? SATs, right? So SATs. Yeah, GMAT. That's a long time, right? I mean, I can't remember anything I've done for 4 hours, you know? So you really have to kind of train your mind for this like marathon. You know, again, inside the course, am I blocking the camera? Inside the course, you guys wanted us to cut out, not you guys, but students wanted us to stop having the 3-hour lectures and 4-hour lectures. We would rather 10, 30-minute lectures. You know, we weren't really for that because we're trying to train you for a 4-hour exam, but we gave into it since we added the simulated exam. So our suggestion, when you finish A6, just take one.
Bless you.
Bless you. Just take one of the simulated exams. When you're finished with it, we're gonna tell you like, okay, you did amazing here, you did okay here, and like you really struggled here. Take 2, 3, 4 days, focus on your trouble areas, and then take the 2nd exam. But this time, like no TV on, no snacks, no cell phone. Make it as exam-like as you can. And after you're done, again, hopefully all the scores went up. Find your trouble areas again, focus on it. Take the 3rd exam. You're either gonna feel like $1 million, or no, you have like 2, 3 more chapters to go through one more time and you'll be ready. I've also heard, and you guys can't hold me to it, but anybody who I've ever asked about our course when they were done said our mock exams are harder than the real exam. So, but if that's not the case for you, sorry, can't like give you your money back. So everything looks good. You can see there's reg, there's BEC, all set. You can print it out, hang it around your house, everywhere, and see, is the volume gonna work in here? Yeah. So, we have a pre-assessment like everybody else does. Basically, you answer a couple questions. Based on how you do, we're either gonna say, you know, let's skip right to the skills practice. You went 8 for 8, you know this stuff, just skip to your homework. Or, because there's other times where you're gonna get none right, and we're like, okay, you know, really focus here. You might wanna watch this lecture once or twice. It just kind of customizes it to you instead of the one size fits all. The lectures, like I said, they're usually like 30 minutes, but since this is the intro one, it's a little bit longer. This is Peter, who I was talking about before. I just brought Peter to affirm with me at Untracked Early, and you would have thought I brought Justin Timberlake with me. You guys are gonna feel some kind of way about Peter Olinto.
I got student loans to repay. Yeah, you're about to have some fun. You didn't realize that. That's right, you're gonna love this stuff. Your friends and family are gonna be very jealous that you're studying for the CPA exam. And never, ever forget why you're doing this, that love of accounting, right? Right, probably not. So, the opportunity.
So Peter sings like
on the back.
a lot of songs, he has a lot of mnemonic devices, you know, just ways, you're gonna dream about him and Tim Garrity and Mike Brown and Angie Brown, all of them. You can see there's a lot of highlighting, underlining, all that kind of stuff. Skills practice. And like, how Jersey is Peter Olento too, right? Like, he's like sunburned with a blowout, and I always wonder what people in like Iowa think of him, you know? Skills practice we've just added recently too. Basically, as you know, Tim and Peter and Angie and all them are teaching you these theories, you can kind of practice what you're learning in real time. I never get any right, yeah. And, because like this is how I learn, right? Not just sitting and listening, but it's actually applying what you're learning and practicing it. And again, just another way that people learn. I'm going fast because I want you to see the skills practice things. So this is what the multiple choice questions look like on the exam. Without that box of like my head that I can't get out of the way, but. The good part about the multiple choice questions that I like is, when you get it wrong, hopefully I can get it wrong, yeah. It doesn't just say right or wrong, it says B is right because, A is wrong because, and it actually gives you an explanation. If you're still struggling with it, you can click here and go back to the lecture and probably watch Peter sing a song about it. Or academic support is here, and you have unlimited access to academic support. Academic support gets back to you, they say 24 to 48 hours, but it's usually like 3 hours. They're all CPAs, and they're all either current or former professors. We had like a meeting down in New Orleans in January, and I met a lot of them. They love you guys. They're, oh, that's such great questions they have, like especially the former professors, they miss all of that. So you can ask them as many questions as you want. Now, my new favorite thing. In the simulations. So, the simulations about a year ago went under what they call a UI UX makeover. So basically it just looks different. They call this part over here the response area, and this part over here is your workspace. In the response area, you're going to fill in, sometimes it's going to be like drop downs of answers, other times you actually have to type in numbers, and you're going to fill in your answers over here. You get the information from these exhibits up top. So you're going to read through here and input your answers over here. I think we can all agree that between multiple choice and simulations, like I'd take multiple choice any day of the week over these. No? Well, probably, I mean, I feel like you probably have the work experience, so you're like, yeah, I could do this. But to me, like, I mean, we've done multiple choice since we were like 4 years old, you know? So there are times where you're going to be at home and you're going to be like, please, Professor West covered this 1 million times in class. I'm good. Breeze through it. 5-10 minutes, you're on your way. There are times where you're going to be at home and like your eyes are going to fill up with tears and you're going to want to change your major. Like it's going to break your heart. So we added Skillmaster videos. These videos you can click on if you need help, and one of our national instructors is going to walk you through how to answer that simulation. Believe it or not, we didn't have this 6 months ago. I know now it seems like a no-brainer that it would be on there, but nobody else has it, and we've only had it a few months. You can see, she's going to point out the important information, circle what you need to know, cross out what you don't. She has Excel open, where she's using that as a tool. As of last year, Excel's on the exam. You're not tested on Excel. Excel is there as a tool. If you're good at Excel, use it, it's there. If you're not good at Excel, just never touch it. A lot of what she's going to teach you and we're going to teach you too is, you know, especially when it comes to like the multiple choice, when you come up with the wrong answer, it's going to be an option. They're notorious for and versus or, all of these except for, not including. So just walking you through how to answer the question and making sure you know the information you're looking for in the exhibits. You guys aren't like that excited about these, but so I just did an event at Rutgers Newark where we bring like 6 newly certified CPAs in to like talk to 3 of their master's programs. And the 6 newly certified CPAs, like I was nervous they were gonna murder me when I showed this. Like, where was this a year ago? Like I think you guys are really gonna like it, so yeah.
So like when you get on the CPA exam, you're gonna see like something almost, like in terms of the interface, like exactly.
This is, well, not her.
Oh, I know.
I don't know why she's, oh. Yeah, but no, this is Like, we're gonna walk in on exam day, our goal is for you to walk in on exam day, and it's going to be exactly what you saw from us.
Okay.
Like, even to the point where when you log in, you might wanna like change your setting sizes, because the computer screens there are 23 inches, and our course mimics even a 23-inch monitor. Like,
Oh, wow.
that's how crazy we are about it.
Okay.
The font is the same. Actually, even when you take our simulated exams, when you take the CPA exam, you have to type in a code in the beginning. When you take our CPA, like our mock exams, you have to type in a code in the beginning. Like, directions are the same. Like, anything that's gonna get you 2-3 extra points because of being comfortable, like, we have that knocked out for you, yeah.
Yeah, because I know like, we do a lot of these kind of things in courses, like
Yeah.
online homework, but like the most annoying part of these is like keeping track of like all the things, like clicking, minimizing.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and then just being good at it, because even like the calculator is the same, and the calculator sucks, but it's the same one, because as annoying as it is in the beginning, you get better at it, you know,
Can
so.
you use your own calculator? You can. Oh, no.
They like might let you borrow a solar powered calculator, but besides that, none of your like cool fancy calculators are coming in the door with you.
Oh.
Yeah. Please, they're gonna wand your glasses when you walk in the door. You can't bring anything with you. They like really think everybody wants pictures of the CPA exam. You guys are like dying for that. And
One thing I will say about the Prometric Center, I feel like it's more strict than even going through the airport.
I've heard it's TSA times 10, especially like lately, yeah. Fun.
I felt like I was checking into jail.
Great, great. Yeah, but only for 4 hours at least, so.
They don't let you walk in there with anything, like you have to use their pencil.
Yeah, no watches,
Yeah, no
earrings,
watches.
anything, yep.
They swipe a wand, make sure you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Empty out your pockets. Like,
Mhm.
it threw me off.
And then you
the
walk
first
in and there's
time.
like a million little kids in there and you're like, what are all these kids doing in here? Like, it's a very strange place.
I just wish somebody would have warned me about that.
About that experience part of it.
It made me a little frazzled. when I
I'm
first
sure,
walked in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It was uncomfortable.
definitely, yeah. I mean, it frazzles me at the airport trying to get through security and I'm like not doing anything wrong. Yeah.
Why are there little kids in the Prometric setting?
There's all kinds of exams that go on at the Prometric Center. So it's like kids getting like tested into like different classes and stuff like that. It's people taking, well, not doing like medical testing, but testing for medical licenses, I guess. Like there's all, it's just like a giant neutral testing site.
Okay. Yeah, didn't hear anything about little kids. Fire.
Yeah, I've only heard that recently, but I've heard it from a few people recently.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on the list. Cool, well, like I said, my card's up here if you guys want it. I know sometimes like one-on-one questions are easier, so I'll hang back if you have questions and stuff, but like I really do keep in touch. I'm happy to help you guys with anything, so, thank you.
Thank you.